Welcome to part 2 of pentatonic scales. You know the alphabet now. You know the notes of the pentatonic scale in A minor C major. But do you know any words? Well, you know 2 already, which is up or down. Well, you can't really have a real conversation with that, right? You can't really express anything. You can say, my name. It's not enough. Okay, so I'm going to show you words. I'm going to show you not licks. I'm not going to show you... That's a cool word. It's kind of a sentence, actually. But I don't want you to just play one lick after another and then sound like any other guitar player. Develop your own language. Develop your own sentences. Be an author. So, I'm going to show you a systematic way to practice your words. Use your words. A friend of mine always says to her kids. So, they're called sequences. Everyone knows them. They're in all the books. Well, now I'll show you. A sequence is the same musical idea played from different degrees in the scale. So, here's a musical idea. For example, on the same note, but it's rhythm. So, this would be the sequence. Okay? A sequence could be 2 notes up, 1 note down. Okay? Now I play it from the next note. And now from the next note. And now from the next note. And so on. We're going to start very systematic. Sequence number 1. Sequences of 2 notes. Okay? So we're going to play 2 notes from each of the notes of the pentatonic scale. So we're going to start on the A, and we're going to play 2 notes, the A and the next higher one. Okay? Now from the next note in the scale, the same thing. The note and the next higher one. But what is the next note in the scale? My students always get that wrong. It's not this one. It's not the D. I started on the A. The sequence continues on the C. Sequence continues on the next note. And on the next note. So, pretty much the note that you end on is going to be a starting note. Okay? If you play it in succession, can I ask, what, isn't that just every note twice? Kind of. Every note twice would be... But the emphasis is different on the other one. It's actually a lot harder to play. Same thing, downwards. Okay? Now, we turn this around. Instead of playing notes up, we play note down. So I start on the second note, I start on the C, I play the C and the note beneath, C, A. Okay? And then from the next note up, I started on the C, so now we go to the D. From the next note, so I go, you see? But always the underlying note as well. And you practice that as long as necessary to just be able to hit a button in your head and go sequences of 2 backwards. Okay? So that they just flow. So that you can talk while doing it. I can talk while doing this. I don't have to concentrate on this at all. My fingers are doing it. You understand? Okay. Sequences of 2, reverse downwards. Whatever you want to call it. So I start not on the highest note, but the second highest. And play up. And then the next note downwards from the one I started. Okay? That's not making music. That's practicing. This is not musical. This is notes descending, okay? I'll show you what you can do with these 6 words you now know. Oh. Bugs. They love the music. Actually, we're going to use 3 of the words you know. We're going to use groups of 2 backwards, descending, and we're going to use up and down. And down. So we're going to do this. Now we're going to start here. Okay? Groups of 2, descending backwards. Then up. And then the same thing again. And then down. So just 3 of the words. Check out what you can do with that when you actually turn it into music. Yeah. Cool, huh? Oh, I think so. Okay, sequences of 3. Same idea. We take 3 notes, and now we do that from every single note in the pentatonic scale. So from the A, from the C, and so on. Now from the C, now from the D, now from the E, now from the G, and so on. Something you can practice without an amp in front of the TV, just to get it in your system. Okay? So, in succession. Okay? What you just saw was downwards. Now, sequences of 3 backwards. So we start on the 3rd lowest note and go 2 down. Or 3 down. Group of 3 going downwards. And now from the next note. We started on the D, next higher note would be E. Next higher note, G. You get it? But always with 2 notes underneath. So, you do the same thing downwards, starting on the 3rd highest note, which should be here. So 3 notes down, that's where you start, and you play up. And that steps down. Okay? Ah, I can't do it. And you don't do this just in the 5th position, you do it everywhere. You practice that wherever you can. Okay? I don't practice enough, as you can see. Okay? So, groups of 3. Not too hard. What about groups of 4? Same thing. So you gotta roll over now. Each of these have their own challenges. That's not too hard. But now I gotta roll over. Now I gotta go here, so I gotta roll over. So you gotta see in advance where you're going to have to play. And that's why you have to practice them like crazy. So you get used to flattening your finger in advance. It was groups of 4, backwards, downwards. 5, same thing. Okay, it's very cool when you start mixing them. Okay, once your fingers do it, you just say that one, that one, that one, and it's easy. Sequences, those were all consecutive notes. What about jumping over notes? Okay, so I jump over this one, so I do, and this. That's a sequence. So I just leave one out and play the next one. And the same thing backwards. You can play intervals, a certain interval from each note, which in the case of the pentatonic is a little bit tough because some notes have certain intervals and some don't. So something that is fun but difficult is playing octaves. Okay, from every note you play that note and the octave. Really tough. I heard that Eric Johnson does stuff like that. Well, he's good. Bug. It's easier when you do it with hybrid picking. Then you don't have to jump with a pick. So if you hybrid pick, let's see what we can do with just what we've learned so far, okay?